Welcome to the Crittenden Press press conference on the coronavirus outbreak. We have with us today Superintendent Vince Clark and Judge Executive Perry Newcom. Probably the two guys in this community that have more pressure weighing on their shoulders here as we deal with this healthcare outbreak that we've got. Most of you have been watching the national news and the statewide news, and you know a lot about what's going on with regard to those areas of our community and our American culture. But here in Crittenden County, we're going to get into it right now. We'll start with Superintendent Vince Clark, who just a few minutes ago announced that the kids will come to class on Monday and then be out for the following 9 school days. So explain what's happening, Mr. Clark.
Well, we had a conference with the Governor Beshear on Thursday. It was about 4:15, actually, when he made the announcement that he was recommending that all public schools, actually all public and private schools across Kentucky, exercise a 2-week closure starting Monday. That created an obstacle for us because by 4:15 yesterday, we'd already sent our kids home. And today was a teacher planning day that was already in the calendar for us, in which students are not here, but the teachers use this as a day to plan for the remainder of the semester. So this morning I did talk to Commissioner Kevin Brown and explained what my recommendation was going to be about having school on Monday, because we needed to bring our 1,300 students back in so that we could make sure kids had their Chromebooks, their chargers. Preschool, kindergarten, first graders will be doing paper packets so that they have those. We need to make sure that our 2nd grade through 12th grade had their login credentials and they were correct. So in our district, every student 3rd through 12th grade are assigned Chromebooks. We are 1-to-1, but we also have Chromebook carts that the early grades check out. So we're going to assign those to the 2nd graders. So
and they know how to use them.
And the teachers today were creating their lessons for them, creating their classrooms for that. And that's one thing for 2nd graders. They will go over how to access their lessons.
Because mom and dad at home probably do not know how to operate a Chromebook, I'm guessing.
Well, the fact of the matter is they can access the lessons on the Chromebook, or they could access them from a computer.
Okay.
Yeah, they can access that.
Let me ask you, if all the students are going home with technology hardware, how do they, if they do not have internet, what are their options?
Well, one of the things, another good reason to bring the kids back in on Monday is that while they're there, and the teachers have been working on lessons today, and the fact of the matter is we still have 3 lessons left over from from our NTI assignments that we pushed out in December. So there's 3 of the 5 that are still there because we only used 2 of those so far, but the teachers added to those. So while they're at school, those can be uploaded because they hit a Wi-Fi. But in the event that teachers add lessons or discussion to the platform that they use, as long as the child can hit a Wi-Fi signal, then those will be uploaded. So they can be done at church, can be done at McDonald's or public library. If folks are out in town running errands, if you come to our parking lot next to the building at the school, you can hit a Wi-Fi there. So there's a variety of those things.
So the programs are preloaded on, and much of that will be done tomorrow. So will they have to get to a Wi-Fi at some point?
Well, they can work on their lessons offline. They can do that. And then if they don't hit Wi-Fi until we come back, they hit Wi-Fi when they come back, and those will be uploaded at that time, and teachers can do that.
So there's enough on their hardware right now, or will be?
There will be, yes.
Okay. First, I want to take a moment and talk about our locally owned pharmacies, KB Pharmacy and Glenn's Pharmacy in Salem and Glenn's Apothecary. During this time, the pharmacies are very important in this healthcare crisis. And I know the 2 local pharmacies, the 2 locally owned pharmacies, well actually there are 3, 2 owners, they are going to be making some special arrangements with their customers. So if you need special delivery arrangements, you can give them a call at KB Pharmacy, Glenn's Pharmacy in Salem, or Glenn's Apothecary. You can go to our Crittenden Press website, and there should be some links there to get you to them. Both have free local delivery. There's some other opportunities that you can get on an app and some software on either one of them that help you get your medicine synced so that you only have to visit once. You don't have to come back one day for your heart medicine, the next day for your thyroid medicine. It'll all do it at once. So we appreciate those pharmacies and what they're doing for our community. I'm going to switch over real quick to Perry Newcom, County Judge Executive, the head of the county, and at this point, I guess you're so many things going on in your communications with the governor. Tell us what's the newest thing right now that we need to know.
Probably the most recent thing that has occurred, again, as a suggestion or a request through the governor's office this afternoon, is in respect to our senior center and operations of that facility. Obviously, they have congregate meals in the
Meals
senior
on
center
Wheels.
every day, and then we have the Meals on Wheels program. The center's always open daily. We've got guys that go in there and play pool. We've got ladies that play cards.
I think it was
checkers,
bingo today.
Bingo day, yeah. You've got all these activities at senior center. Well, the governor today made the formal request that the senior centers actually close, and obviously that makes perfect sense. That age group is the most susceptible to this coronavirus, and so. But what we're going to see happen, even though the center itself is closing, the employees will continue to work. There's going to be continued meal service. Meals on Wheels will continue. If some of the folks that come in on a daily basis to eat the congregate meals, if they still want a meal, they can call and order that meal. And basically it'll be like a drive-through service. They can drive to the senior center and they'll have their meal delivered out to them. They're under the carport whenever they show up. The home services where we see people go out and assist with cleaning and things in folks' homes, those will still be offered. We've already had some calls requesting let that be suspended.
Yeah.
And so those folks who are not comfortable with having that service continue until this thing blows over, they can call in and request that. They won't be removed from the home care
The program,
process.
it's a temporary.
It's a temporary suspension. Just keep somebody from coming in their home if they're afraid of maybe contracting some type of virus. So.
You know, you mentioned something about keeping those employees busy, and that's important to our economy. Mr. Clark, what's going to happen? What are the teachers? I mean, you have staff, you have custodial, you have bus drivers, you have federal program employees. What's going on with all that?
Yeah, so how do we engage them over the next 9 days after Monday? And we have a good plan. We touched base with all those departments today. Of course, one of the things that we're really concerned about, other than engaging kids in learning activities during this closure, is nutrition and feeding kids. So our food service director, Emily Wheeler, has mapped out a good plan. Right now, we're going to be sharing the details of that on Monday. We did share some of those in our letter today. But in collaboration with our food service department and our transportation department, they're going to be preparing and delivering meals for our students across the county. So we're going to set up at the elementary school cafeteria, and there's going to be a plan where folks can actually drive around the elementary school and pick up lunches around back. We're going to get a waiver from having to congregate and feed, because previous CEP rules require that you have to see the kid eat the meal. We're going to get that waived. Parent has 3 kids at home, they can pick up 3 meals. Also, we're going to be sending out buses and board vehicles on 8 routes each day throughout the county. That will average 4 to 5 stops on each route.
So you won't go to individual homes. You will have a spot, say at Tulu School or somewhere.
We will have sites, and Emily's going to share those. There's going to be about 40 sites that we will take food to and share the meals with kids between 11 and 12:30 each day that we're out. They did share though, if on their route they do pass a child's home, they will deliver to that home if the home is on the route. Emily is also going to have a call-in number for anybody that can't get to the site or is on the route and they need meals. School-age children. Well, actually, I think it's age 1 to 18. I think she can feed. That if they will call in and they need a meal, we will get them a meal. So we don't want kids to go hungry over the break. So there's a good collaboration there between food service and transportation. I know there's plenty of technology needs to do as well. So our classified assistants will be helping technology, and the teacher will be working from their classrooms as well through our Google platform to communicate with parents and students and upload lessons and evaluate lessons as well.
So those people will continue to be paid. They're not going to be stranded out there without income. What about school trips? Are there any major school trips that you're having to reschedule or eliminate because of this?
Well, on the closure, based on the governor's recommendation, all activities will be closed. I mean,
are there any big? I know the junior class goes to DC, but that's after I think you're supposed to come back.
Well, that's in April, mid-April,
Yeah.
around April the 15th.
So at this point, that's still on.
Right now, that's still on. We have a call in to the organization about what are our options as far as postponing, what would our options be as far as getting refunds, and then evaluating, what our best options are at that point. Postponing, we do have some seniors that are signed up for it and some foreign exchange students, but it's still something that's doable. But we also want to know how many fees we're going to be charged if we cancel, because we don't know what is going to develop as a result of this. This is the first time this virus has been through. I think it's only been alive since or been active since December or something like that.
Last day of 19.
Okay, yeah. So we don't know what all that's going to bring about. So, how long can we postpone it? Those are some questions. That's on our radar. Of course, all ball games, after school activities, any school related events will be canceled during the closures. Matter of fact, the Kentucky High School Athletic Association is treating between Monday March the 16th to April the 12th as a dead period, just like we do in the summer.
Yeah. And only thing different than the dead period, from what I understand, is coaches can have some dialogue with their players, which during the summertime dead period you can't do that. So you can still communicate with them. Mm-hmm. Here's a question, and I'll let you start it, and then Judge Newcom also has a lot of facilities that are available to the public, but you have the multipurpose room, that you have yoga classes out there, and other people want to use your facilities for various activities. What's the status of those?
They won't happen.
They're shut down.
They'll be shut down. The campus will be shut down to all activities and events as far as that goes. We'll have to have our board meetings because we'll have to approve the payment of bills and action items and things like that. We'll have to practice social distancing on that, but other than that, it will be shut down.
Okay. What about you, Judge?
Yeah, we've got several things going on, obviously, throughout the county. We received an order last night from the Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice, that basically suspended all court proceedings unless it's an emergency hearing.
District court, family court, circuit court.
All those have been postponed through April 10th at this point. There's no transfers in or out of our detention center at this point. So what inmates we have incarcerated are going to be there at least.
Even if their time's up.
Yes, absolutely. And we have a lot of inmate work programs.
The work release program is an issue. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, the Transportation Cabinet, they announced yesterday that they were suspending the state highway work program, which leaves 2 crews of inmates and 2 deputies back into the facility throughout the course of however long this lasts. We're not sure how long this suspension is going to last. Right now they're saying it could be up to 2 months. Maybe as little as 2 weeks. We just don't know, and we're in such uncharted territory at this point with regards to this situation. So those are all going to play a major role in having an effect on what happens throughout the community.
You have so many of these work release inmates who provide custodial services for different public buildings, and then mowing the grass at all of the public facilities, the park, Dam 50. So how's all that going to shake out?
Yeah, right now with respect to the mowing crews, we believe we're going to be able to manage that situation. The main focus of Department of Corrections is they do not want the inmates exposed to heavy traffic public areas. So like the custodian at the courthouse, for example, obviously in contact with a lot of people throughout every day of the week. And so he's been put back in on lockdown. And it's unfortunate for him because he actually received notice that he's been paroled. He's been waiting for a slot to come open at a halfway house that he's planning to go to from here. And so he's stuck now for up to possibly 2 more months when he was supposed to be leaving within the next week probably. So, those guys are going through a little hardship as well.
This is and you mentioned both of you, these are difficult times, they're uncertain times, it's unprecedented, and we as a community and as a culture, American culture, are sacrificing so very much that we need everybody to be responsible and be respectful for what's being asked. So don't be reckless at this time. Let's get this past us, because there are people sitting in jails. I mean, we don't think about that when we say, well, I need a soda from the convenience store, but is that necessary? And you could be a carrier. Be responsible. Limit your exposure, your social distancing. Make sure you're, I think 3 feet away. But Mr. Clark, gosh, these kids, my children, want to know what this means. What do you tell the children that are scared and uneasy about this? Have your counselors talked about that?
Well, they're talking about it because they're always talking about the emotional health of our students. I mean, the social emotional learning part of what we do in schools now plays such an important role. I mean, I was telling Allison as we came in here today, it seems like anymore we talk less and less about reading and writing and math, and we talk more about social and emotional health for our students. So it's always there. Our teachers are trained in that. Not only our counselors, but our teachers, our support staff, our principals, and it's awesome to see in times of crisis like this how we respond. I mean, we really step up. I saw second grade teachers today learning a Chrome package platform so that they can engage their kids. So when you talk about social emotional health for kids, it's important because you can't get to the academic part until you take care of their emotional and physical needs.
And I would say, as a parent, I tell our children that it's like anything else. Don't mess with fire. Don't handle a copperhead snake. Be careful with a gun. It's just like anything else. I don't think you discount it with them. You tell them this is something to be respected, and the fact that you need to be responsible too, going forward. Judge, one other question. I know it just came to mind. These inmates help out at the Marion Convenience Center, which is our local dump, for lack of a better term. What's going to happen there? Is that going to affect the operation of it?
Yeah, we ordinarily have 3 to 4 inmates out there that assist with unloading trash, separation of recyclable materials, and unfortunately they were pulled back in the other day. But you just adjust and make arrangements as best you can in these situations, and so we pulled a couple guys from the road department over to help out with the convenience center operations. I know tomorrow's weather seems to be less conducive for people to be hauling trash in with all the rain coming in, but I told Jason on Saturdays or something, if I have to come out there and help, we'll make arrangements to get the job done. We want people to know you may have to experience a little bit of a wait more so than usual. But just be patient with us, and we're going to continue to offer the services as best we possibly can.
The state has put out a phone number. It's a COVID-19 hotline, and the number is 1-800-722-5725. That's 1-800-722-5725. And we'll have that on our website as well. That'll answer a lot of other questions that you may have for the broader community. I hope we've gone a long way to answer a lot of questions here. I think we may have some questions from online. If anybody you don't have any of those coming in. A lot of times people post questions when we're doing this. Mr. Clark, anything else you want to add to this that'll help people understand what they can expect over at least the next week or so?
Well, I think the third leg to this is the older population. Our concern is to protect them because they play such a critical, essential role in raising our students. They are so involved, in some cases, they are the sole guardian. Our grandparents are for the children, and we certainly want to take care of them and protect them. And that's going to these links. We know that we can transmit. Kids can transmit it. We know that the virus attacks those over 60 and those that their health is compromised. So we just want to be mindful of that when we talk about why are we doing this? Why are we doing these interventions? That's really the big thing. Of course, is also our hospitals can become very overwhelmed with about 20% of the folks that get this requiring intensive health care. But besides engaging kids with good, meaningful learning activities and taking care of their emotional health and feeding them, it's going to strain. It's going to strain our families and our community. We're going to feel it all the way across, and we taking care of kids is our business, and it's hard to do remotely, and we want to be a good partner with that, and we're glad that we're in front of this with our NTI approval.
Sure.
There's lots of school districts in our state that are not there. They're doing some emergency waivers, and there's a lot to that. But thanks to our team, they have done a lot of legwork on that. Most of our teachers are familiar with that platform and how to engage kids. Most of our kids and teachers use this daily. I mean, it's just part of what we do. So I'm grateful that we are that far ahead of it. But there's going to be challenges. There's going to continue to be challenges. We just ask folks to be patient with us. We will do everything we can to make sure that we're taking care of kids.
You mentioned the high school, Kentucky High School Athletic Association has shut down all sports until after what's effectively Crittenden County spring break. And that's a statewide cancellation for all those, or you can call them postponements, but I don't know if they'll be able to make them all up. But also locally out at the Marion Crittenden County Park, I know they've just opened the restrooms for the season out there, and they made a decision today to shut those down because they don't feel like that they can keep them properly cleaned during this period without adding a great deal of manpower that they don't have. So they're closing those down, and also the Little League Baseball, Little League Softball, Kickball, and soccer. All those Little League sports programs are shut down until the end of spring break. So there will be no practices, no games for soccer, softball, baseball. Perry, we had a question come in about the courthouse. Will the courthouse remain open?
Yeah, our intention is to keep the courthouse open and in operation. Obviously, we're there to serve the public. You can't serve the public if you're closed. We've done the best we can with respect to hygiene. That's should be on everyone's utmost forefront of your thoughts as you go through this thing. And we've put hand sanitizing stations at every entryway door. I did notice and get word this afternoon, though, somebody had actually stolen a jar of our hand sanitizer.
I think it's $11 now a bottle at the store down there.
Yeah, so
you find it.
I kind of stressed everybody not to be that selfish. Understand that those are there for everybody, and I'm sure somebody had a great need, and so be it. But we want to be sure and keep ourselves covered as well. You know, with respect to hygiene with this thing, you know, if you go to a door, let's push up, you know, try to use a sleeved arm or something to push it open, try to use a handkerchief or a paper towel to pull the door open. You know, as less hand contact you can make as possible, they say will help significantly. I didn't realize, but on average, everyone touches their face 3,000 times a day. And I was sitting here a while ago, I was scratching my face, but they said, you know, try to limit your hand to eye, hand to mouth, hand to nose contact, that type thing. So,
You know, I made a joke about the hand sanitizer being $11, but in all honesty, I think everyone is sold out. Are you getting any information about supplies like that? Do you have any idea? You know, we're down to one full service grocery store now, and of course we have the convenience stores and Dollar General and some of these other dollar stores.
yeah.
I think they're all out.
And a lot of that I think is kind of panic based.
Sure. Maybe
people are fear based. We, you know, our detention center, we periodically purchase through a local vendor thousands of packets of that packaged tuna. Mm-hmm. And the process to get that done is the jailer calls, probably places the order. A couple days later, he goes and picks it up. Mm-hmm. It's for the canteen for inmates to. Well, we found out the other day that's not available anymore. And when questioned why, they said, well, most of that tuna prepackaged tuna is coming out of Japan or the Far East, and so it's already shut down. So we're already starting to see that effect, and that could possibly continue to become more and more severe as this thing progresses.
Okay. One thing I do want to mention too is the nursing homes. The way I understand it, family, everybody, no visitors allowed in the nursing home unless there's some kind of very extenuating circumstance. Could be end of life type deal for the patient. But as far as I know, no entry into the nursing homes right now in all the nursing homes in the area that we've talked to. Mr. Clark, we had a question come in about teachers' access during the period that you are out of school. Will they have access to classrooms every day?
Well, who have access to?
The teachers. Well,
the teachers.
They'll be in, won't they?
The teachers will be in their classrooms every day. It'll be all hands on deck. Everyone will be reporting on Tuesday. Our day will be 8 to 3 o'clock. That day, teachers will be in their classrooms, developing lessons, evaluating lessons, communicating with students and parents. Our instructional staff will be helping them do that, along with technology needs and food prep and delivery and things like that. But our parents and students can email their teachers. They can call their teachers at school.
I want to mention again, during this time, the pharmacies, local pharmacies are so important to our community and will be as we deal with this, particularly those who need their medicine. And the pharmacy here in town, KB Pharmacy, has a drive-through. You know, they're encouraging you to use that if you are concerned about coming inside. The walk-in is still open. They do deliver, and they have a RX Go app that you can order ahead, and your prescription will be available when you get there. And then Glenn's Pharmacy in Salem and Glenn's Prescription Center here at the clinic in Marion, free delivery. They have a med sync program where you can get all your medicine in the same day. You don't have to make multiple trips. And they offer free delivery in Marion and Salem. And if you have some kind of special delivery need, call your pharmacy. They'll work with you. You know, people may have special needs. They're not going to be somewhere till a particular time. Talk to them about that, and those pharmacies will help you out. Anything else, Judge?
Yeah, Chris, I want to emphasize some of the governor's message to the public with respect to the 800 number that you mentioned earlier. That 800 number that Chris mentioned that he's going to post online. There's also a website, covid19.ky.gov. That you can get a lot of up-to-date information. The governor is stressing that if you feel you are symptomatic with the coronavirus, to call this hotline instead of calling your doctor or going to the emergency room, just in case you do have the virus. they don't want that exposure to the general public that are in the doctor's offices for other reasons or that are in the emergency rooms. The one thing I did find out that may shock people if they call that 800 number is that the 800 number is actually the Kentucky Poison Control hotline as well. So you're going to get a voice that says, "Thank you for calling Kentucky Poison Control and COVID-19 hotline."
Okay.
So yeah, don't be alarmed, and don't be alarmed if there's quite a bit of wait period. I understand they're being pretty well overwhelmed with phone calls, and there could be several minutes of hold time.
And if you're sick, I read some of that on that website. And it's encouraging the public. If you're sick and you may be scared because of this, you may think this is what you have. It's encouraging. If just because you're sick and maybe a little scared, frightened about the disease, the virus, call the hospital or clinic. Don't go in, just like you said. Don't go in and let them maybe advise you on what you should do until you are symptomatic, high fever, dry cough. They're saying you probably don't have it. A lot of times when my children get the flu, I think I have the flu. Just I start feeling bad immediately.
Right.
So that's part of this process that we go through as humans, and we become afraid we're going to get something. So, Mr. Clark, anything else? Any closing comments?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize we will have school on Monday. We're asking all students to report to school so that we can get them the tools that they need so that we can engage them over this 9-week closure. Our closure will begin on Tuesday.
9-day closure.
I know it's a 9-day. It's a 9-day closure for us.
Yeah.
Well, we're following the governor's recommendation of the 2-week closure, but we're going to have school on Monday so that we can get our kids equipped. Now, of course, we'll have 4 NTI days next week. Then we'll come back the next week for 5 NTI days. Around Thursday, we will evaluate the situation. Of course, we will continue to monitor it. And then on Thursday, we hope to send out a communication about what happens next for us, because we're in a unique situation where we're going to be taking 2 weeks off here and trying to determine, but we have a week, between then and spring break. And I know the governor's intention was to get to spring break. And I think that was some of the schools in Northern Kentucky and Central Kentucky have spring break the week before ours. So we're going to be mindful of that. That'll be the next challenge that we have to figure out is what that week looks like for our community.
It's a very fluid situation. I mean, you're saying right now we're out for 9 days, but this thing, if this thing goes in a bad direction, we're going to be out longer. So
Possibly.
Folks, prepare for worst case scenarios, and hopefully, pray for God's mercy as we deal with this. Pray for the doctors, the healthcare people. It's a trying time for our community, and a very difficult situation. I said it's like the ice storm times 10.
Right.
But we did learn a lot from that, and it's helping us, I think, cope with some of this. Judge, any closing comment?
Yeah, just one more thing real quick. Our public health department,
Yes.
of course, we're a part of the Pennyroyal District. The Pennyroyal District does have test kits for the coronavirus.
Okay.
They've actually already administered 4 tests to individuals that felt like they may have been suspect. All those came back negative.
Right.
So I still say we're in a fairly low risk area at this point. But I also feel like eventually there's going to be some West Kentucky cases come up positive, and that's why we're going through this precautionary measures. And as you mentioned, it's a totally fluid process at this point, and changes sometimes by the minute.
Sure. We didn't know yesterday at this time where we would be.
Exactly.
And here we are. And 11 cases, I think, last I heard reported in Kentucky now. It was 8 yesterday, 11 days. So, again, I appreciate KB Pharmacy, Glenn's Pharmacy in Salem, and Glenn's Apothecary. Remember, they have the drive-through, free delivery. Contact them if you have some special needs during this time, and they will make sure that you get your prescriptions. This is the Crittenden Press news conference today. We will do this periodically through this situation if it lasts, and as things come up that we feel like warrant this type of exposure to the community. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
We will stay tuned to the Crittenden Press online and all of our other social media platforms, as well as the printed edition of the Crittenden Press. Thank you.